Tim Legler, nice enough to join us from Oklahoma City. Always good to see his face, an old friend of the show. Legs, let's start in the most obvious place. What the fuck are the Knicks doing?
Oh, you got me there. I thought to myself, is he really going to go Haliburton first? Are we going to talk about the Thunder? You hit me with that. Good. Great question. You know what's interesting now?
Yes.
What's interesting now, too, by the way? Look at the Eastern Conference right now, man. With what's happened with Jason Tatum and Tyrese Haliburton and the Knicks not having a coach.
Right.
Going into next season, it could possibly be more wide open than it is right now. I wish I had an answer for you with the Knicks, man. All I know is it's going to be funny to watch when they finally get a coach and they have their press conference and 8 names have been leaked before that guy, whoever it is, and they go, this is the guy we wanted all along. It's going to be an awesome press conference.
The draft is on Wednesday. They don't have a coach. I mean.
Right. Yeah. It's incredible. By the way, there is something we said about that, too. Like the fact that the Game 7 of the finals ends, and today these teams wake up that played this deep into the season, and the draft is in 2 days, and free agency is just a few days after that. Oh, man, is this all running together now? There's literally just the NBA season doesn't really end until now, like the middle of July after Vegas Summer League.
I'll get to KD and the Rockets, and I'll get to Haliburton as well. But an NBA champion was crowned last night. They did it in 7 games. Legs, are we looking at a potential dynasty when you consider their core is all locked up to contracts? They have like 9 first-round picks over the next 5 years. It seems like Oklahoma City is on the verge of putting together a nice string of titles here.
So logic says yes, right? Because of the age, the way they're built, they've got a great chemistry, incredibly well coached, really smart organization. So yeah, you would think so. But logic dictates what's going on here lately. I didn't think Denver was a one championship team.
Fair.
I didn't think the Celtics were a 1 championship team.
Yep.
And maybe they're not. Look, maybe Tatum comes back and at some point down the road the Celtics get another one. I don't know. But these windows are shorter than ever for unforeseen circumstances. Health, keeping a roster together, guys becoming disgruntled and wanting out. But when you look at all of the things that could affect the team to make it only have 1 championship, it seems like Oklahoma City has less of those factors that could play into this. They genuinely do have incredible chemistry. They're young, they're healthy, and I think most importantly, their winning recipe is really built on the defensive end of the floor. Like that's their constant every night, and they did it again last night. It's kind of fitting that they won a championship where they flipped the script in the third quarter by turning you over and converting those. That's what they did all year. That was their formula. They fed off it. They had a harder time in this series doing it, and they finally did it. And that's what got the separation, and they win a title that way. So all of the factors seem to be in place for this to be a team that we're going to be talking about in the mix here for the foreseeable future. And probably for me, spending a number of the first 3 weeks of June going forward in Oklahoma City.
Stu, for the first time in league history, there have been 7 different NBA champions in 7 years. So it's going to be tough for OKC to go back-to-back.
Legs, is that a good thing for the league?
I don't know. You know, I think for me it is. I like it. I like the variety. And I was really excited about this series knowing that one of these 2 teams were going to be the first time to break through. First championship here for Oklahoma City. Indiana's never done it. That was cool to me. I thought there was a lot of variables in the series for an analyst to talk about. It was great. Style of play was great. I do think there's something to be said about fans getting behind rooting against a team. I think that creates something in terms of interest on a national level around the league. Like, if you didn't have a rooting interest in OKC or Indiana, maybe you weren't interested in this series, even though, you know, if you love basketball, I thought you should have been because the style of play was so fun for both teams. So that other element of, I'm sick of these guys, so I'm going to watch because I want them to fail. That element is not there when you have a different team winning it every year, as opposed to some team that seems like they're in it constantly and you just get so sick of it, so you root against them. That's also good for the league because it creates additional interest.
Legs, I have a problem because I was saying just the other day that when I fell in love with basketball, it was Dr. J pursuing his first NBA title and only NBA title. He got Moses Malone. He finally got it done. Then it went right into Bird and Magic. You had LA and Boston. You had all the markets taken care of. The Knicks were good at that time, or decent at that time as well. Then it kind of rolled into Jordan. It rolled into Kobe and Shaq. Then it went to LeBron. And I just don't have any sort of feelings either way about SGA and Oklahoma City. And I think that's a bad thing for the league. I'm not rooting for this guy to climb some sort of mountain, you know?
No, I hear you. And it's funny because I was talking today about this series. The one thing that you didn't have, and typically most series do, is like that villain or that guy that just like gets under your skin.
Yes.
You know, even like Luka, as great as he is, Luka's a guy that's an irritant, right? The way he plays, like smirking and laughing and acting like this is the easiest thing in the world, what I'm doing out here. Like people just want to come out of their skin to try to get to the guy, right?
Right.
So that creates something. And I said that this series didn't have it. And some people were like, oh, that's not true. SGA. And I'm going, SGA? You're talking about why? Because you don't like the fact he gets calls? But Can I just tell you something? I think I called 5 Oklahoma City Thunder games this year.
Right.
And then, of course, I was here this entire series up close watching these games courtside. And I don't recall ever seeing St. Gilgeous-Alexander say a single word to an opponent on the other team.
Right.
Ever. And like that's what, to me, it's more than style. Like, style can be like, oh, I hate the way the guy plays. That's not enough to, like, want to hate a guy or root for him to lose. It's got to be the personality component has to be there, and there's nothing there. If you try to say that about SGA or anybody on the Thunder or anybody on the Pacers for that matter, you're reaching, man. You're really digging, trying to find something, because there really are legitimately just a bunch of good dudes that just want a ball and keep their mouths shut. So I agree with you, man. That factor was not a part of this series at all.
Right. When did basketball players become such good dudes? What is going on? You need some Charles Oakleys. You need them.
No, it helps, man. It does help for the casual fan that maybe doesn't have a team in it that they're interested in.
Right.
It does help.
Yes.
Like, I want to watch because even if like you don't hate the player like on that level, what you do know is the other team probably hates that player. So there's a chance you can, think about this. We just played 7 games in the NBA Finals. Was there even a shoving match?
Right. No, there wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So even if you don't hate the guy, there's a good chance if he's a chirper, a talker, a guy that turns to the crowd and gestures like whatever, there's a good chance the other team hates the guy. And now it's on. Now you got a chance. You might see some fireworks tonight. And look, I think it does add something to just the interest in it, the competition of it. You want guys to get sick of each other. And, man, it's on now. Like, Game 4, there's a shoving match. You don't want somebody to get ejected or anything like that, but there really wasn't that in this series. And I think your point is valid, man. You know, for me, I loved the basketball. I loved the style. I thought both of these teams were awesome to watch stylistically, and that's why I enjoyed the series. But I get it if some people wanted a little bit more spice.
Legs, we were robbed. It felt like we were robbed of a moment. It felt like Haliburton was going to have one of those games in a Game 7 on the road, and we hope he's okay. He's probably going to be out all next year, but that was tough to watch because he was off to a great start. You felt like he was going to have one of those historic games and maybe get the Pacers an NBA title.
Yeah, I mean, because typically he can have quiet halves. We've seen it, and he's criticized for it, right? And he comes out, he's a little passive. I've seen nights where he takes like one shot in the first quarter, and you're kind of like, what's going on? And when he starts the game the way he did last night, typically he's a problem the whole night.
Right.
And that's kind of what we were feeling. Like, wow, they go up 14-10. He hits that 3. They're up 4 early. Like, nerves are settled. Their whole team probably relaxed a little bit. Like, man, he's here tonight. That makes us feel more confident. So you were really wondering, how is this going to play out, right? If you thought we were going to get a hell of a finish, if nothing else. That is about as cruel a thing as I've ever seen happen on a basketball court.
Awful, yeah.
Because even the Durant one, which a lot of people were bringing up, I hear you, it was similar circumstances, clearly, coming back from a calf injury, playing. And then it leads to the Achilles. Very similar motion at the time, too, that back plant and to push off. But here's the difference. Kevin Durant had already won 2 titles. This is an opportunity for the Pacers. Like, who knows when they're going to get this chance again? They've never won one in the history of the organization. This team with all these improbable wins that they just had in the postseason. And now here they are, 1 game away, and just to have that be what was waiting for the end of them, waiting for them at the end of this run, man, is that cruel. Now you got the double gut punch. You lose a game 7, the heartbreak over that, and now you wake up today with the prospect of knowing you're not going to have this guy that's the engine of your team, certainly for all of next season.
Any issues with Carlisle playing Haliburton? I think that whole argument is ridiculous. What is he supposed to do? The kid wants to play.
Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. I'm going to tell you something, Stu. So obviously we talked about it a lot before Game 6,
right?
Because Game 5 was when he looked like not himself. He wasn't a threat in that game. I actually was one of the people that said, if you're Rick Carlisle, it had to become so obvious in Game 5. By the fourth quarter, he wasn't going to be a threat in that game. Go back to McConnell. McConnell had the best third quarter of his career. Put McConnell back in. I'm not saying they win Game 5, but it gave you your best chance. Carlisle went with Haliburton. So now Game 6, we're all talking about it, right? Then he comes out, and he didn't like a monster night, but he certainly looked normal. And he made plays. Remember the play he made where he gets in the passing lane, the deflection, he dives out of bounds to save the ball, and then they go the other way, and there's a 3-on-2 break, and Nesmith hits the 3, the roof explodes in the building. I'm like, okay, well, he's good, man. He's fine. In 2.5 days between Game 6 and Game 7, with all of the media hits I did not field one question about Tyrese Haliburton's calf.
Really?
So, yeah, not one. No one brought it up because of the way the guy looked in Game 6. So you're like, I guess he's good to go. I wasn't thinking about it at all last night going into the game. And then especially when he has the start he has. Okay, I guess that's a non-talking point. And then, bam, man, could we have been more wrong? So clearly, I don't know what they're going to end up, it's almost like you need to do an investigative report like the Warren Commission on this. Like, what's the correlation between this calf strain and your Achilles, right? Because even Lillard had a calf strain.
Right.
So now you're looking at this going, okay, here's what I predict. Going forward, when guys start getting diagnosed and it becomes public knowledge that the injury is a calf strain, these guys are going to be out a lot longer during the regular season. Now, anybody's going to play. Hell, Haliburton would have been out there limping around on one leg in a Game 7. You're not going to fault the guy for doing it at all. So I don't think the Pacers deserve any sort of pushback when he looked as good as he did in Game 6.
I love that, a committee to figure out what's going on with the correlation between calf injuries and Achilles. I think you're right about this. There should be a committee.
Yeah, we got to figure it out. We got to figure out because now it's like, man, this is the biggest stage there is, and it happened to an all-time great player in Kevin Durant, and now it happened to this guy that the story of the postseason was Tyrese Haliburton with all these game winners and all this stuff they did late in games. And so to end like that, man, just absolutely sickening feeling. It put a weird vibe over the rest of the game.
No doubt.
And it was a matter of time before that OKC pressure wore down a team without their floor leader. And the guy, he never turns the ball over.
Right.
So typically, he did more in this series than normal, but still by normal standards, the guy's as safe as it gets. And it was a matter of time before all that pressure caved in Indiana's offense, and it did last night in the third quarter.
This is a comment Taylor gave me earlier today, so I'll ask you. Does T.J. McConnell lead the NBA in wanting it the most?
He's up there, man. Here's what I will say. Think about this, man. Think about this. They only have a finals MVP, right? So what if they had an all-finals team? In college basketball, they had these Christmas tournaments and the Chaminade tournament, and they have an all-tournament team.
Yeah.
What if they had an all-finals team? There's no doubt T.J. McConnell's on it. Think about that.
Yeah. You might have more Pacers on it than the guys on the Thunder.
But for sure, you got Siakam, SGA, Jalen Williams, and then T.J. McConnell's got spot number 4. I don't know who's got the 5th spot, but that dude, it got to the point where you couldn't help but be literally giddily as you were watching this guy play, do you know he went 12 minutes of game time last night?
Yeah.
12 minutes straight where he was the only player that scored for the Indiana Pacers.
That's because he wants it the most. I mean,
yeah, I agree. I love that description. That's a good description.
He was getting triple teamed out there.
Well, of course. Right, because he wants it. Yes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Legs, were you ever triple teamed? I mean,
No, not that I can recall. Not that I can recall.
How about the double? Did you draw a double every once?
An occasional, if I got hot coming off a ball screen, I'd get the occasional blitz. Yeah, for sure.
One of the great shooters of all time. You had a question about Dort, didn't you, Taylor, about his nickname?
I said there's never been a bigger contrast in name and nickname in terms of coolness than Lu Dort and the Dorcher Chamber.
He's right. You're right. I mean,
no, he is right, man. Look, and like that last night when that's basically who they sicked on TJ McConnell.
Right.
In the third quarter, like they're like, enough of this, man. Right. We've got to put our first team all league defender on TJ McConnell now to slow this guy's roll. Like turn his water off. It's incredible. Even a guy like that, people are like, oh, yeah, Dort's the guy. That's the guy you hate on this Oklahoma City team. I'm going, Lu Dort's never said a word to an opponent either.
I can't hate a guy named Lu Dort. I mean,
no. How do you hate a guy with 7 letters total in his name? Come on, man.
You're so right. You're so right about that.
Yeah. Did Mel Ott get a lot of hate? No. Ty Cobb. Come on, man. His short names. It's the greatest.
I hated Nomar Garcia-Parra.
Right.
A lot of letters.
Go. Right, just because there was too many syllables. Right.
Jonas Valanciunas. He really gets under my skin.
I think you guys are right. No one hated Rick Smits. No one. Nobody.
No, you can't hate. How could you hate Rick Smits? No.
The great Tim Legler with us. KD, the Rockets, you talked about a wide-open NBA. Eastern Conference and really the Western Conference as well. I think that's a great fit. What do you think, Legs?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's the one thing they didn't have was a clear identity offensively. They didn't have a clear alpha. Şengün's a really nice player. You're not going to run your offense through him in big spots. Jalen Green, very talented, very unpredictable. And then Amen Thompson is not there on that level offensively, although he's going to be an incredible player, maybe even starting next year, but certainly within 2 years. That's an all-league, first-team all-league type of talent. As he continues to extend his shooting range. But none of those guys are in the offensive categories Kevin Durant. So now you add a clear top-of-the-food chain player to a team that is that good defensively, very well coached, very tough. Kevin Durant is exactly what they needed to check that box and thrust them into contention next year. At least, when I say contention at this point, what we're really talking about is who is the biggest challenge to the Thunder, because clearly the Thunder are the team that is separate from everybody else right now in the league. We don't know who that clear defined number 2 is. They were a 2 seed Houston last year. This season, nobody thought they were a contender.
Right.
So who is that team? That Lakers, let's see. A full year with Luka, and I love the off-season videos these guys post of in the gym grinding and they're flexing and stuff. It's like Ben Simmons with the 3-point shooting videos in the off-season, right? Okay, so I don't know what's going to happen with Luka, but Luka, a lot of uncertainty. Like Denver's got a lot of uncertainty now. The Clippers, Houston now adds this. Memphis, these teams that were in the mix, they go to State, the way their season ended, there's a lot of question marks in the West. Houston just literally, I think, thrust themselves into a category now where maybe it's them at the end of the season playing the Thunder in the conference finals. I'm not going to be shocked as we sit here one day after the season ended.
Legs, what makes Sam Presti so much better at what he does than everyone else?
I think he said some things last night that summed it up. I think one of the things he said was his approach from day one. And I think this worked in San Antonio, and that was his model for success. They draft people before players. I think that's a really good point. And look, you got to get talent too. You could draft a bunch of really good dudes that can't play. You're going to be in the lottery every year. So you got to have both. But I think the fact that they prioritize character and buy-in mentally to what they're doing. Like, it's not a matter of we are going to draft a guy and now we've got to change what we do to fit this guy's skill set or fit this guy's personality or temperament, or we're going to hold up the charter for 15 minutes waiting for this guy to get here today for a road trip. They're not going to do that stuff. So you have to get the talent, but they're going to draft guys. If they have to sacrifice some talent, it's going to be because they want high character and guys that walk in and make it enjoyable to be around every day. I think that's a great way to go about your business. Very few teams have the intestinal fortitude to stick to that mantra.
1 year from now, when I reach out to you and ask you to join me on the program here, will it be from Oklahoma City?
I think
so. Yeah.
As we sit here now, how could you really think it's anybody else because of all of the question marks surrounding all of these teams? Like right now, you're talking about Boston missing Tatum probably the whole year. Certainly Indiana not having Haliburton the whole year. The Knicks don't have a coach, as you mentioned a little while ago. Giannis might get traded. So look at the top of the East. Who knows? And certainly when you look at the West, all these teams have question marks. So Oklahoma City, not only did they just win a championship, just look at their roster construction, the way that their salaries are lined up right now, the youth. They're going to probably add pieces, use some picks this summer and add something. Yes, OKC is clearly the one certainty we have in this league right now.
Jerry Rice, don't hate him. I'm trying to think of guys like with just benign names that I can't. I got Pete Rose. Everyone loved Pete Rose, though.
I loved Pete Rose. So yeah, I'm the worst guy to ask. Oh, I got one for you, Dr. J. That's 3 letters. Come on, man. Yeah. You get more love than Dr. J.
You're right. The All NBA podcast. Check it out wherever you get your Legs. You're podcasting now. Look at you, man.
Yeah, here we go. Yes. Doing it, man. Doing it. People have. There's a craving, man, for just really just flat out breaking down the game. Yeah. And that's what we do on the All City podcast. So hopefully people are checking it out.
All right. No one does it better than you. Last question here, Legs. Shot for your life. Okay. Shot for your life. You have to choose one guy to take a 3-pointer. Your life depends on it. If that guy hits it, you're living. If he misses, well, you know the result. Okay. Steph Curry, Larry Bird. Shot for your life.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Curry, man. And
what?
Larry Bird's my favorite athlete of all time. I'm going with Curry, though.
What?
I'm going with Curry. I'm going with Curry, man.
Deadler.
Listen, I guess I hear what you're saying. Bird had that killer instinct. I get it, but I don't know. If Bird is in that mood that day and he doesn't like you, you're dead meat. I think Curry's too nice of a guy. He wants everybody to live. No matter who was in that spot, he's making the shot.
Yeah, but I think if Bird doesn't like, even if he doesn't like you, Legs, he still wants to hit the shot because he's embarrassed if he misses. Like, he takes that shit personally, you know?
No, you're right. And he'd probably be that guy that with the rest of your life would keep telling you that you owe him. Right. He's probably that guy.
Your life. You owe him your life.
Right. Exactly.
All right, man. Get home safely. We appreciate the time. I know it's a busy time. Enjoy the summer off, though, man. It's over. Like, it's done.
Yeah, you got it.
Right?
You got it.
Hopefully the next time we talk, the Knicks will have a coach. See ya.
Yeah, you got it. See ya.
Thanks, Legs.